I'm going to be interviewing a very special Leeds United fan coming up now. He's one of the most prominent comedy voices in the country. Now, unfortunately, Chris Moyles couldn't make it, but we do have a man who hosts incredible shows. You might know him from Channel Hopping with Jon Richardson, Meet the Richardsons, Jon Richardson, Ultimate Warrior, basically anything with his name in. So can I introduce to the Leeds United Supporters Trust, Jon Richardson, AGM, it's Jon Richardson.
Hello there, thank you. And if any of you are amongst the 7 people who are watching Channel Hopping with Jon Richardson, then can I just issue a massive thanks straight away? I got my Christmas jumper on.
That's glorious, Jon.
There we go. Ho ho carajo, it says there. They wouldn't let me wear it on the last leg because it's strobes and it has a swear word in it. But I did try. I tried to get it on Channel 4.
Yeah, always pushing the agenda. That's the great thing about Leeds fans. We need to keep banging that drum. So, Jon, we just thought we could have a really kind of open chat, I guess, this time around, because it's been a very unusual year. Lots to discuss. Yes. But first and foremost, let's start at sort of the beginning of the year and then the promotion push, because as Leeds fans, it was everything that we dreamed of, bar the global pandemic and the ability to not go to any of the games towards the end.
Yeah, well, it's very Leeds, isn't it? The one year that we don't go to shit, everything else goes to shit. So sort of, but on a par, we've sort of averaged out. But it's been wonderful. What a year it's been. I thought I brought my football in just so that I could win a header, because I thought Leeds United fans might have not seen that happen for a couple of days.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, that wasn't from a set piece, otherwise you'd have got nowhere near it. But yeah,
it's actually I've got my daughter whipping in crosses from the corner of the pub there, so we're training her up to, again, not take short corners and then pass them back to.
Yeah, perhaps we could use your nous at some set pieces, Jon. But it has been a tumultuous year for all sorts of reasons. If we just focus on that promotion, sort of the end of the promotion campaign, the celebrations around it, obviously there was a frustration for the fans at not being able to celebrate in the way that we would have liked. Do you feel that we've had some catharsis despite that in terms of getting it out of our system, being able to enjoy it?
I think broadly you just have to treat it more sort of like a tantric thing, that you enjoy it a little bit for a long time rather than one explosive orgasm. It's been a sort of gentle tickling throughout the year, and it's just, it is. People have lost worse things than us being in the stadium. It does feel a bit of a shame, especially given that the narrative has been so perfect, that it's been Bielsa and the way we've played and the way we've done it without spending a lot of money. As it has been special, but I know I'll remember it for the rest of my life anyway, in or out of the stadium. So, yeah.
Have you done anything? Obviously, I can see you've got your jumper on with Bielsa. Have you done anything sort of to commemorate it in perhaps a permanent? Have you put any artwork up? I mean, dare I say, have you got a tattoo or anything like that?
I do. I really want a tattoo, but I only want one if nobody knows I've got it. It's a little private joke for me, because secretly I know how pathetic I am. So if I did have a tattoo, I wouldn't show you it, but I haven't got one. I have, Angus will be pleased to know I'm trying to put money in. So when they put up for sale pieces of the net from our championship winning season for £100 a pop, being someone who has the opportunity, I thought that's the sort of thing I should have, and I'm staring at it now. It's in a lovely presentation case, and I've got just about every mug going with the word champions on it. So, there's plenty knocking about. I've indoctrinated. It's good for my daughter to see success, convince her to be a Leeds United fan. So I've done what I can.
Absolutely. And as Leeds fans, we've spent 16 years in the wilderness. We've heard all the jokes, all the ribaldry over those years. Have you noticed things change between sort of when you've been going on TV shows, meeting other comedians, other football supporters? How has the atmosphere shifted?
We're broadly liked now. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or not. It's nice to, I sort of quite enjoy being the one who gets you're in my circle, you're the Leeds fan. So if something good or bad happens, then your phone goes bananas, whatever. So I've quite enjoyed that, to be honest. And of the shows I do in the comics, I guess I work with Matt Ford a lot, who's a Nottingham Forest fan, so he's keeping his mouth firmly shut at the moment. That's a delight to watch. And I did last week with Josh Widdicombe, who is a Plymouth Argyle fan. So again, he hasn't got a great deal to say on Leeds United. Alex Brooker is a very generous. Alex Brooker, in fairness to him, opened with, "How did you not beat Arsenal the other day?" Which I had to agree with. So yeah. There's people talking. I'd just, Bielsa himself being one of the top 3 managers in the world at Leeds United. What a time to be alive. We're so lucky.
I know, it really is quite the treat, isn't it? Particularly when I know people keep bringing up the very short-sighted forecasts from certain English managers. Steve Evans, our former manager, being a prime exponent of the anti-Bielsa brigade when he first joined.
I was at Steve Evans' first game when he was unveiled as well. The sight of seeing him walk across the pitch was just magic. I couldn't work out how far away he was. Just physically, I thought he must be about 2 miles away because nobody's that shape from here.
He was an optical illusion of a manager, wasn't he? And that was spectacular. Shape.
And also, and the time we're in now where, you've just seen with Angus, everything you need to know about Angus. He's a man who takes the A1 rather than the M1. He knows the M1's a quicker journey, but it's less pleasant. That's how well the club is run now. So the sort of Evans Chileno madness, that was the sort of opposite. And it was almost a relief then the club was so badly run. You could almost relax a bit and just say, well, this is as shit as it's ever going to be. We have a lunatic in charge who's hiring people that have no right managing our club. So, it feels like that should be it should take 30 years ago to turn that situation around, not like 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that goes to a deeper point about the salvation of being a Leeds fan in this last very weird year, is that we've taken such a pummeling, not just from fans of other clubs, but from within as well, from the terrible signings, the relegations, point deductions, fines, and just I remember a time when the season kicked off and we had Chileno in charge, and there was a story circulating about there was been so many budget cuts that players had to do their own washing, they had to wash their own kit. And I thought, you can't get much lower than that, really. So anything is just a bonus.
Yeah, you can laugh at. There was a sort of serious. There's a tragedy to some of the players we lost. It's that young squad coming through, like Lewis Cook and Byron. You can't begrudge any of them leaving. I don't doubt there's a lot of fans who left then. But when you've been on a sort of serious note, when you've been through that, and what I have learned from the last sort of 10 years is, if you're going to get, I know there's been some awful times and awful results, but broadly, more than any other club, the supporters trust and the work the supporters do in general. We've seen this year the money that they've raised for food banks and things, Leeds United fans. You could be proud of being a Leeds fan, whatever sort of league we're in, and as long as you're going to games and you're able to have a pint. And I think that's what's fascinating now. I've had a better time going to games in League One where we've lost, and then I've got drunk afterwards, than watching games on my own in the Premier League. In a set, we can't even have a mate round to your house to watch it. It's been a real sort of revelation of what the important things about football are, and really, it's nice to play nice football, but it would be nice to get back, wouldn't it, and watch it.
Absolutely. I think we're all missing that camaraderie and that feeling of shared emotion. I think coming together in Elland Road is a quasi-religious experience, really, isn't it? It's that sort of in the cathedral together, we win together, we lose together, and when you don't have that, you don't have the outlet. And it's interesting. I was going to ask you on your thoughts on what it's like being in the Premier League now, because it's what we've craved for so long. Is it everything that you'd hoped, minus the fact that we can actually not see the team?
Yeah, I'm not going to begrudge it, because it's obviously the thing that you've been working towards. You can't be in the Championship and not want to be in the Premier League. But equally, it's a different Premier League to what it was when I sort of became a fan in the early 90s. It's not, the technology is not as good. The money that other clubs have, you can see, a game like last night, you see just the act of being in the Premier League. West Ham are not a great team, but just the act of being in the Premier League makes you so much money that every couple of years you add the quality of play that we haven't been able to for the last 10 years. So it's going to take us, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, adding a couple of players each year, provided we stay up, to get to that broad level where, you look at the Everton squad now and you think, how's that happened? How have you got James Rodriguez in your squad? And it's just because the Premier League is just a check every year. And once we get to that level where we've got that squad and we're competing the way we should. But, this squad now, as much as I'd love to buy, world-class players every week, I'm going to really miss some of these players when they're not in the squad anymore. And some of them you have to sort of say are working very hard at the moment, but could perhaps be replaced. But I don't want any of them to go. I want honorary roles for all of them. I want them all just dotted around the pitch at every game. I don't ever want to not have an Alioski moment in my week.
Yeah, absolutely. He should be sort of a roving reporter on the side of the pitch, if nothing else. Just
absolutely.
But
get T-shirt cannon, something like that. Something where there's a risk he could actually take out a fan, do some real damage.
And he's live streaming everything as he does it.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I think there's a sort of a payoff to being in the Premier League, isn't it? Once you reach the sunlit uplands, if you like, it's not just the team that you play. It's the years that they've been in the Premier League and what that does to your side financially and structurally and infrastructurally that we haven't benefited from. So when we draw with Arsenal, actually we're drawing with a team who've never dropped out of the Premier League, who've had billions of investment and have had the security to be able to build on every year's success. We just
have hated it. Arsenal fans have hated almost every year since that invincible season. They might as well have just all retired. That should have been their pension. Just pay off. Don't go to football anymore. You're never going to like it again. So I'd still take our journey. I'd still take the appreciation for what football means and what it is to like your club and like your players and like the way it's run, because it just looks miserable being a fan of it. If you expect to win the Premier League every year, you're not going to. Only one team's going to win it. So, just I mean, I love watching them. I was listening to the Square Ball podcast where they had the Arsenal fan zone. What a delight to listen to other fans going balmy. It just makes you realise the whole game is insane. How would we have got through this year without something that doesn't matter to get more angry about than things that really do matter?
Yeah, exactly. But it comes with being an Arsenal fan, a sense of jilted entitlement that'll always leave you disappointed. You can't even win a game and enjoy it now.
What have they won, like 5 FA Cups in the last 3 years or something? And they just talk about it as if they're just part-timers on like a ruined pitch.
I know. But it's great to speak to you, John. And we've had a searing question in from Michael Green, who says, non-Leeds United question, John, how was it living in Surbiton?
It was great. I mean, Surbiton's everything about me. It sort of pertains to be London, but it's not really. It's a sort of quiet suburb outside where not a lot happens. I loved it. I have a nice little, no one bothered me. Surbiton's the sort of place where people are too posh to admit they've got a telly, and certainly too posh to admit that they watch the shit that I recognised a lot, because people would never want to admit that they watch Channel 4 after 9 p.m. Yeah. So yeah, it was great. I miss it. But I prefer being up here. Yorkshire is better. And thanks for the insightful question. And thanks for having me. Frankly, I'm like dog shit at the moment. I seem to be everywhere. And I apologise to anybody who's watching. So thank you for inviting me. And I apologise that I think I'm on ITV at the moment eating a roasted butternut squash cooked by...
Oh. John, are you still there? Hello?
I think we might have lost John's feed. I think he might have stopped.
Just
2020.
Just when he was about to tell us who'd cooked his roasted butternut squash as well.
James
John,
there you go. Have I gone? I've paired with my phone now because my internet's breaking down.
There we go. Well, that's your Hebden Bridge internet for you.
No, absolutely. Who'd have thought living in a valley in shit weather would have an effect on your internet?
Madness. But yeah, well, you were just about to tell us who your roasted butternut squash was cooked by, so don't leave us on a
Oh, what an awful point to cut out. I was trying to look sort of self-effacing, and now it looks like I've prick-teased you with.
Yeah.
It was, it's James Martin.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I have to say, I hate butternut squash, and he put pomegranates in. So tune over to ITV now to see what a good actor I am. Pretend. Really, the thought of fruit inside the sweetest vegetable as a savoury main course didn't make me feel sick.
Horrible. Maybe just James Martin doesn't like you. Is he a Man U fan?
I think he's probably a rugby fan.
Oh dear.
Those bigger boys.
Well, thanks for tuning over the fact with us, John. And it's been great to catch up with you. Hope you have a brilliant Christmas. Let's keep our fingers crossed for a win. Well, any win, but particularly one on the 20th, eh?
Yeah, that would be very nice. That would make Christmas, wouldn't it?
Fantastic.
See you all at Ellen Road.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Take care. Bye.